For most of human history, marriage had nothing to do with love. No choice, no romance, no promises whispered in the dark. Marriage began as a survival tool, a system built to protect food, land, bloodlines, and power. And if you think your relationship struggles are complicated today, wait until you see how marriage began, when saying no wasn't an option. So tonight, we're going back, before rings, before weddings, before love stories, to understand how humans invented marriage and why it changed us forever. Let's begin before marriage, before villages, before kings, before written laws. Early humans lived in small hunter-gatherer groups. Life was fragile, food was uncertain, death was common. Relationships were fluid. There was no lifelong contract, no ceremony, no legal bond. Pairing happened, but it wasn't permanent. Children belonged to the group, not to one father, not to one household. And here's the important part. There was no concept of husband or wife. Why? Because ownership didn't exist yet. No land to inherit, no cattle to pass down, no wealth to protect. Marriage would not appear until humans had something to lose. Everything changed when humans settled down. Farming began, land became valuable, food could be stored, and suddenly ownership mattered. If land was yours, you needed to know who would inherit it. This created a problem humanity had never faced before. Who are my children? The solution was control. Control over women's sexuality, control over reproduction, control over lineage. Marriage was invented to answer one question: whose child is this? Love was irrelevant. Stability was everything. This is when marriage became a contract, not between two people, but between families. In most early civilizations, marriage was not chosen, it was arranged. Girls are often married shortly after puberty, sometimes before. Consent was not required, obedience was expected. Marriage transferred a woman from her father's authority to her husband's. She was not a partner, she was an asset. This isn't speculation, it's documented in ancient law codes. The Code of Hammurabi treated wives as property. Adultery by a woman could mean death. Adultery by a man often meant nothing. Marriage wasn't about happiness, it was about order. In ancient Egypt, marriage was more flexible. Women could own property. Divorce was possible. But love still wasn't the foundation. In Mesopotamia, marriage was economic. Dowries mattered more than emotions. In ancient China, marriage strengthened clans. Love marriages were discouraged. Filial duty came first. In ancient India, marriage was sacred, but still controlled by caste and family. Across civilizations, one truth remains. Marriage existed to serve society, not the individuals inside it. Here's something that may surprise you. For thousands of years, love was seen as a threat to marriage. Why? Because love is unpredictable. Love ignores class. Love ignores politics. Love ignores family strategy. That's why love stories were tragedies. Romeo and Juliet did not inspire marriage, they warned against it. Choosing your own partner was considered reckless. Marriage was supposed to be stable, not emotional. Love entered marriage late, very late. Only in the last few centuries, with urbanization, individualism, and modern economies, did marriage begin to change. People no longer depended entirely on family land. Women slowly gained rights.
choice became possible. Marriage transformed from a survival contract into an emotional partnership. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Our expectations evolved faster than the institution itself. That's why marriage today feels confusing. We ask an ancient system to fulfill modern emotional needs.
Marriage isn't failing. It's struggling to adapt. It was never designed for happiness. It was designed for stability. Understanding this doesn't make marriage meaningless. It makes us more honest. When we know where marriage came from, we can decide what it should become. So the next time someone says, marriage is sacred, ask this: sacred to whom? And for what purpose? Marriage is one of humanity's most powerful inventions, not because it began with love, but because it learned to make space for it. And that might be the most human evolution of all.